Today we're going to clean the pantry, and I have a fairly large pantry. I'm going to take you in there and I'm going to show you how it does actually need cleaned out. You might just be looking in there going, it's not terrible, and it could be worse. At least you can walk on the floor a little bit in there. So let me just show you what's happening in the pantry to make me really need to get down in there and clean it good and clean it out. All right, here we go into the pantry. We'll turn on the light here. Now, I do have some dividers and things like that, and some stuff is actually organized properly on the shelves, but there's just a lot that's randomly placed in places. And I do have a lot of food storage because, you know, we should have a year's supply on us. You never know what could happen in our country to make you really need some food storage. So it would be ideal. And this is all supplements that needs to be organized better. And I have a lot of expired stuff in here that needs to be thrown out. This is the tea section here, which needs to be cleaned out. I have so many different teas, some that I make just kombucha with, and you know, whatever. Got this hot chocolate here that, you know, who knows if it's any good. So these are things we've got to look at. And I've got the air fryer down here. It's got grease and crumbs around it. So yeah, that's not even the worst of things, okay? I'm going to show you why I'm choosing to clean out the pantry. And I've got lots more food storage over here too. I've been canning this year, so I've got a lot of good stuff on my shelves. Supplements more here that are mine only. I gotta clean that out. But I want to start using some of my food storage. This is the problem when you do food storage, is if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it, and you gotta throw it away and then you waste it. So I need to start rotating through some things. Now down here, let me take you to a different country. It's called the land of the Pantry Beetle. And if you see these little black dots, it's not pepper down there. Those are pantry beetles, and I suck them up every single day. And they like to get into my food storage. And I've had this sprayed several times, and no pest control company can get rid of them. I don't know how to get rid of them. And they come in by the hundreds. Used to be the thousands until they started taking note that I'm on it. So I gotta get in here and vacuum, wipe everything down, and get a good solution to get rid of them. Someone said to put bay leaves down there. I tried that, didn't work. I can't get rid of them. So the next option is to get serious about cleaning. And we're gonna start. This is gonna be part one of the pantry clean out, and we're gonna start with this bottom section here. And I'm only gonna do that. And then another day, I'll probably have to come and just work the whole second shelf up, and so on, okay, until we figure out how we want this to look and feel in here. And obviously this isn't my dream pantry. I would like butcher block countertops with under lighting and just some very organized, gorgeous details to the pantry, which I don't have a budget for right now. So we're gonna work with what we have just by organizing it and rotating stuff out, seeing what we can use, using up our food, so I don't have to go to the grocery store, and just using what we have. And I first have to look around my kitchen, and I gotta go, well, look, this countertop needs cleaned off because I'm gonna be putting things on there from the pantry. So I've got to clean this off first. So you got to think about, in order for me to clean out that pantry, what do I need to do first to make that happen, to make it easier on me? And you got to have a space to kind of bring all your stuff out too. If you're not going to put it on the floor, you could put it on the floor. But I want to stay as organized as possible and make this go smoothly. So let's spend 1 hour today just working on the bottom. You got to give yourself a timer, set a timer, put some good music on, and let's get to work. Just learning so much as I go here for cleaning out the pantry. Yeah, you're gonna definitely need a clean space. So you're gonna need to have areas where you can put things, where you can see them and organize them the way you want them. Hey, countertops cleaned off. Time to get in there and and get to work. So we're doing the bottom shelf area only. It goes all the way around. It's like a closet in there. So we're gonna pull everything out, spray it, wipe it down, vacuum it first, get all those pantry beetles vacuumed up. And we're gonna look inside our food storage containers that these pantry beetles might have gotten into. If they are in the flour or the sugar, which they probably are, it's time to dump it and call it a sad day for food waste. But that's the way it goes when you live in a place where pantry beetles are, or something else that could get into your food easily. You got to learn how to do the food storage techniques to seal it properly. And the truth is, a couple of these aren't sealed properly. So lesson learned on my part. So let's get started. So we are a family of 4 living in this house, and we've lived here for a couple years now. And when we first moved in, it was all pretty well clean, so I didn't really go through and scrub this down the way I should have. And you'll see as we go along, there's these little holes along the bottom by the floor, where the floor meets this first shelf down here, which is where majority of these bugs are coming through. And it's hot. I'm in Arizona and it's hot. And it's nasty down here because there's just these pantry beetles everywhere that I couldn't see. I thought they were mostly just on this side over here, but you know, as we get a little closer, we can see there's tons here and all over the floor. Even though I vacuum in here nearly every day, they just multiply and replenish their populations by a millionfold. So let me show you that. Okay, what was sitting here was a container that came from Slovenia, and it was a container of balsamic vinegar that's been aged to perfection, I'm sure. My sister-in-law gave it to me, but look at all these pantry beetles. They look like little lice. Those are actually black marks, they're not bugs. So sometimes it's hard to tell. It just needs a new paint right there. But just down here on the floor, you can see a bunch of them. You can't because they blend in, but if you look right in there, you can. Again, they're like as small as a lice. See that? And they are just everywhere. They crawl up the corners, they get into stuff in here. Some of them are even brave enough to make it up to the top shelves here, where we're always grabbing stuff from. And if I see one, I do vacuum and suck it up and dispose of it. So I'm glad we're doing the heavy lifting right now of just doing the bottom section, because that's basically, see, they're coming, they basically live under here. There's like this hole here and they like to come in, but that's not the only hole. There's one on each side, and that's just where we need to bait it better and spray it better and try to kill them out. So here we go. The truth is, you guys, I kind of ignored this for a couple of months. All right, this video is brought to you by the Shark Vacuum. They're not sponsoring me. Nobody knows who I am, so I just wanted to give it a shout out. I was a Dyson girl. I used Dyson for many years, and then I decided to make the switch when my last Dyson kind of stopped with its suction. I'd had it for several years, probably 5 or 6, and I was ready to try something new, and I was considering a Dyson, but then my carpet cleaner guy mentioned the Lift Away, the Shark, and it happened to be at Costco where I was shopping one day, so I said I'm gonna give it a try. I can always bring it back if I don't like it. But I actually really love this vacuum. It's much lighter weight than the Dyson. And I love it because this canister right here comes off quickly and easily, and you can empty it so much better than you can a Dyson. And I just like it for that reason. I like the parts that attach. What I don't like about this particular vacuum is the attachments don't stay on very well onto what it has here for the attachments. It should be a click on, but it's not. You just set it there. Every time you go past a piece of furniture, all the attachments fall off. So not crazy about that. Sometimes when I'm using the hose and I don't lift off the canister part, the lift away part, the whole thing tips over. So that's not very stable. But other than that, I've really loved this vacuum. I love it more than my Dyson. So I just wanted to give the props to the Shark people for creating a cool vacuum that works really well and is sucking up my pantry beetles. So thank you. All right, let me show you what I have here so far. Not much on that countertop, a lot went on the floor because this was all touching the pantry beetle stuff. So I don't want it on my countertop. So I will wipe my countertop off again because I don't want the risk of having those beetles on my countertop. But we have it vacuumed up. It's nice and neat now. So now we just need to go through and just spray it down. We're gonna wipe it really good. And yes, I still have to do this side here where the pantry beetles are at their worst. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna work a section at a time on this bottom. I'm gonna give just an hour of my time here. So let's keep going. Quick mention, I'm using the Melaleuca brand Tough and Tender just to spray it down. And I'm gonna pair this with a Norwex EnviroCloth microfiber, heavy duty. You don't need this, but because it needs extra spray and sit for a second, that's what we're gonna do. So some eco-friendly products here. We will let that sit for probably 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and wipe it all up. Okay, before I get in there with that EnviroCloth, I'm gonna wipe up all of the spray on a paper towel because I really don't need to use my microfiber on that cleaner. I just use water with it, and that's the best way to keep your towels, your nice investment in your Norwex cloths, lasting a long time, not to use a lot of cleaners on them. So let's use a paper towel. And you know what? I'm gonna get you down here with me. All right, that cleaned up pretty nicely. Let's finish off. Yeah, I was kind of thinking if I put it off, the bugs will just go away if I vacuum them up every day, and then they just weren't going away. So I had to just take matters into my own hands, finally cave in and just do the nitty gritty. And that's what we have to do sometimes as human beings, is just bite our teeth and get it done. Okay, it feels so much cleaner in here already, just on that bottom shelf. So now it's time to bring back, well, before we bring back the stuff into the pantry that we took out, let's go through and just look at it, and we'll make sure there's no bugs in it. And if there is, well, we're gonna have to dump it. So here's the moment of truth. Okay, this one here looks like one I did seal properly. No, okay. This is flour, and this flour does not look like it has any pantry beetles in it, because you'd have them right at the top crawling around. I could be wrong if I dig in there. Might find a weevil or two in there. But the proper way to do these 5-gallon buckets is to put your stuff in there. You'll want to watch my video on food storage and how to seal your food storage. But if you have these Mylar bags, if you can get the air out as much as possible before putting it in the bucket, or keep it in the bucket, and then you have to lay a board and then fold this Mylar over the board and have a warm iron, and it will seal it shut. I always put some oxygen absorbers, not like a whole bag like that, but that just happened to be where I had it. So that bucket here is labeled bread flour, and it is still very much usable. So I got to start using this flour over my other flour. It's a pass. Next one, pinto beans. Okay, I see absolutely nothing. I should have put these in a Mylar bag and sealed it with an oxygen absorber. I did not, but I want to start using these pinto beans. I did not put the year on it, did I? Let's see. I did not put the year on it of when I put these in here, but it's been at least 4 years, I would say. So it's time to start using these. All right, next up. What is this? This is going to be hard red wheat from 2021. The year I really started food storage because of COVID and everyone panicking. I started to panic too. Okay, these lids are nice. You want to get these ones. They are called the twister seal lids. They twist right off and they are very durable. They have a nice rubber seal on them. As you can see, this bag is sealed. You can't open it. So I know that that's going to be good forever. I've got wheat from the 80s and 90s that I just ground up in my Vitamix the other day, and it made amazing bread. I took some to the neighbors. They loved it. So really, the lifetime of this kind of stuff is, for me, indefinite. So, okay, I think we got that on there good and tight. No, now we do. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back into the food storage closet here. Let's bring it up. Now, what we need to do is make sure we wipe the bottom of the bucket, because as I put it in here, I can see some of those pantry beetles stuck to the bottom. So I'm just wiping around it to make sure they all come off. Okay. What I wish I would have done a lot sooner was just tackle this whole thing and clean it out without thinking those pantry beetles would go away on their own when the weather cools down or whatever, because they didn't. So I'm just finding some things I pulled out that I don't want on the bottom shelf. I want them to be a little higher, which are some pickling spices and some salts and some ice cream salt and things like that. Instead of keeping it on the bottom, I usually keep all my baking things in a spot. Can't see where I'm pointing, but right here. Up. No, I don't know how to point on a camera. So anyways, this is looking fabulous. Down here it's clean. We have to go around and do the other side, but first I just got to get the rest of this stuff off the ground and put into the closet, and then we'll go. This is my favorite salt. It's called Redmonds Real Salt. I put it in my water every morning. It's got anywhere from 72 to 82 minerals in it, and this is what I use as an electrolyte. Stock up on good salt. This is another brand I love. It's a Mexican sea salt called Bella Vista. Casa Bella Vista. It's a Mexican sea salt. Lots of great minerals in this one as well. Hand harvested, I believe. So when you see it, you'll know it's really kind of a coarse, thicker salt. And I really like this one as well. However, I notice when I put it in my water, it doesn't stay tasting salty. So if you don't like a salty tasting water, which my body loves now, it just seems like it's salty for a second and then the flavor goes away. But I love the salt, it's good. This is my favorite honey. It's called Cox's Creamed Honey. Creamed honey is a spun honey. This is raw and unfiltered. And I love to stock up on this stuff too, because I love honey. And who doesn't love a honey and peanut butter sandwich from time to time? All right, amazingly, I had this whole thing of sugar that was even open, and that's not a pantry beetle, but it could be a shedding of something in there. But I don't see I don't see any pantry beetles in here. And usually they like sweet things. It seems like they get into flour, rice, sugar, and for some reason they didn't touch this. So they know the dangers of sugar. Maybe this is a really bad one and they're like, we're not touching that either. So, hey, it says non-GMO though. So pure cane sugar. But of course it's been processed and it's bleached white. So we're gonna save it though, put it into the deep freeze so that we'd be extra sure that the pantry beetles don't get to it and it'll be safe there. Okay, this container here. This is supposed to be a balsamic vinegar. Never seen it be opened ever. It was given to me by my sister-in-law when she did live in Europe. She brought it over. She put it in a storage unit when she moved from Tucson area, and she couldn't take it with her to where she was going, cross country to Virginia. So when it was time for her to move, she just gave me a bunch of stuff, which was so kind. And this beautiful container is awesome, but I don't know what I'm about to find in here. So we'll try to get a knife and pry it open. Oh wow. Holy cow. You can't see, but it is very, very potent, vinegary. And we gotta taste this. So this is the next thing. I don't see any sign of bugs in there at all. There's no reason. It looks pure, it looks clean, it looks filtered. Whoa. That is delicious. It's a very sweet, and it's weird because it almost has notes of vanilla to it, but vinegar, that is a very good balsamic vinegar. I'm glad I did not dump that. I'm gonna wipe the top of that, put that lid back on, and I'm gonna start using this balsamic vinegar. So thank you, Rachel, for giving me this. And I'm sorry I didn't open it sooner. I didn't know what a precious treasure we had in here. I'm a way big fan of fermented foods in any way. And if this has been sitting a while, like it has, probably years, like a fine wine, right? This is aged to the most perfection you can get. Looks like my hand got like a little piece of cloth in there. It is so good. I can't even describe the notes of what I'm tasting. Almost like notes of cinnamon, vanilla, but it's balsamic vinegar. This is precious stuff. This is the stuff people go to Italy for, and they go tour places just to get this. So this is a precious resource. Such a find in our pantry today. You guys, this is just a great video for you to work alongside me and get inspiration and motivation to do your own pantry. It's hard for me to get myself motivated to do these kinds of chores, but when I watch YouTube videos, I just jump right up and start working. So hopefully this will inspire you to do the same. Just jump right on in and tackle something that you can clean in your house, even if it's a junk drawer, a silverware drawer, whatever. When you're moving in action like this, your home becomes so much more easier to live in and more beautiful. This is a hard job. These guys know I mean business. There's so many of those bugs in there. I'm expecting all of this to be infested, so we're gonna open it up and look at it in just a second. Okay, it is time to look into our food storage containers and see if any of that is infested before we wipe it down. Put it back in there. You ready? Rice. And even though I did seal this one properly, it smells bad, like it's gone bad, and I can see sheddings from weevils in there. So we gotta dump that one. Time to clean it out and dump it. And I'll check the rest of these. The rolled oats smell good still, and I see no sign of any pantry beetles, and usually they love rolled oats and they're usually in the oats, but they weren't able to penetrate through that. So and that is a really good sealing lid, and we need to use these oats. They're ready to be used. So we'll put them in the safe pile. All right, next up. Hard red white wheat. Okay, you can't see this very good. Now you can. There's some oxygen absorbers in there. See? And I see no sign of pantry beetles in there either. So that's going in the good pile. That's a huge blessing too. So, but awesome. So one so far needs dumped. Let's check the next one. This is wheat from 2007. So my son was born in 05. It's 15 years old. I can't even open this one. Someone gave this to me, and it says lift tab and twist. And I lifted the tab and I twisted. Oh, here we go. Oh. Okay, this one is very much infested. This is the one they love. It's not wheat at all, it's oats. And they're crawling all along the outside. You can see that. So that's gotta go. I found their headquarters. That bucket of oats, which isn't wheat. We don't know what it's from and when it's from, but it's gotta go. All right, still cut oats is next. Looks good. And this is penne pasta. All right, so basically out of all that food storage, ooh, we have one more over here. Let's see. It says cut at holes to remove cover. So someone gave me this too. And it is not coming off. I don't see how anything would have gone into that. So we're just gonna call that good. Time to put this all back into the pantry now. And we've already spent an hour and a half. I was only planning on an hour. But sometimes these projects, just for even a small space, is gonna take you a couple hours. So just have your calendar light on the day you decide to tackle something like this. And we'll get back to it, okay? Great job today.
Your smile lit up like a sunrise glow. Touch so soft where the seasons flow. We met where the stars take their flight. Every moment with you feels just right. Whisper your name.
All right, that'll do it for a pantry clean out. Bug infestation, video number 1. Meet me back here for video number 2, where we'll do the second shelf up, organize it, clean it all out. Bye-bye.